Am I? Yes, Dylan, I'm actually recording.
Beautiful.
Hello.
Beautiful.
It's doing what it's supposed to. It's amazing. Hello, everyone. I am Zazubaar, and joining me for this sort of spur of the moment video, I have Dylan McCandless, aka Super DM64.
This isn't DFOS.
No, it's probably going to be like the same thing though. Like if we put this up as an episode of people of DFOS, people would be like, "Yeah, this seems about right."
This is a weird thing considering that they ended the season 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, true, true. So there was a piece of news that was announced today that Dylan and I were probably going to end up discussing off recording anyway because we were both going to talk tonight and hang out and just talk about shit and maybe watch some old school Japanese monster movies. But fuck the old school, Dylan, because the new school is coming in with a massive, massive announcement from the good people of Japan. So, Dylan, did you know, and knowing that you already do, that Gen Urabochi, that man who you and I both may or may not know, scripted Godzilla anime movie announced for 2017. So they're gonna put out a animated Godzilla movie produced by a Japanese company in 2017. What do you think of that?
This is very interesting.
Fascinating, unprecedented.
A Godzilla anime naturally is something that we've all wanted for years, and
Mm-hmm.
um, and now we're getting it. It's an animated movie, so it's a little different from what I always wanted. Uh,
Yeah, this is not what I initially kind of expected, which was what everybody has wanted for years, which is an ongoing Godzilla animated series produced in Japan,
yeah,
which
I mean,
this is not at all, seemingly.
because a few weeks ago we got that tease that they might be doing an anime, and it was like, whoa, and like now we have confirmation.
And by wait, but by tease you mean they registered a domain name for a website that was GodzillaAnime.com, and when that was all over the media, like not the like the mainstream media necessarily, but like the Tokusatsu fan base media, I was like, I'm not saying shit about it. I'm not thinking about it for more than 2 seconds because that's a really vague thing to go on. But now I turn out to be wrong like usual, I suppose, and there is a Godzilla anime movie coming out. So, Dylan, let's take a look at the article here and kind of focus on the very specific things that it tells us factually and what we can kind of glean from that about the direction that this might go.
Now I don't know
So,
who Jin Urabuchi.
yeah, so let's start with him.
I've
In
never seen these things that they credit to him in the article, so I'm sure
Madoka Magica and Thunderbolt Fantasy,
I'm sure there are some anime fans right now that are saying, "Oh,
they
that's like the greatest thing ever." But I don't.
they both sound lovely.
I've
He's the writer.
I've certainly never seen them. As for the production company involved, I'm aware of their existence because I know what Knights of Sidonia is, although I have never watched it personally.
Me neither, but I've seen it pop up in my Netflix recommendations, and I'm like, that looks like weird pirate shit, and I'm not about it.
Okay, all right.
It's space pirates, to be fair. That sounded odd.
I
But
love that this article has a picture of Godzuki.
yeah, well, I mean, he
It
truly is the icon of the idea of an animated Godzilla.
I guess I mean in their hearts they just want Godzuki to be in this thing. And to be honest, I would love to
I mean,
see
I do.
I would love to see a modern reworked Godzuki. I would love to see a Godzuki like the Matt Frank Godzuki Neo design. Fucking have a main character ride him. Be great.
So Dylan, this is also being directed by Kobun Shizuno, who directed the Detective Conan movies, which I imagine is Arnold Schwarzenegger, reprising his role as Conan and being a detective
I mean, look,
on the hard streets of Tokyo, modern day.
Detective Conan.
He's
That sounds
he's
familiar.
kept alive through magic, which he hates.
Oh, okay.
Sitting up,
This is
ironic.
the anime that I used to get trailers for on old Dragon Ball Z VHSs, where it's like a
Interesting.
detective who gets turned into a kid through some sort of magical means, and then he continues being a detective. Well, this quote
Um,
unquote article is super fucking short.
all of the articles are because there's nothing to go on. So let's just finish up with the secondary director because they're just there are just as in Shin Gojira, there are two directors of this film. The other one is Hiroyuki Seshida, who directed Blame! Exclamation point, and Ajin, chief director, which I assume is part of the name of the movie and not his role on that movie. So Dylan, do you know who those people are?
I recently heard of a Jin, if that's how you pronounce that. I think I saw it listed on like Kiss Anime or some shit.
Hmm.
I've never watched it. I don't really know what it's about, but I have heard that name before. Um,
Right. But you've never actually watched anything on
yeah,
Kiss Anime
all of these
because
people.
you're an upstanding citizen.
Oh yeah, I just go there to like get ideas for what I should watch legally in the future.
Exactly, Dylan.
Yeah, but yeah, all of these people have apparently done things that I've heard of, except for Jin Bucci, but never actually watched myself. So I have no fucking idea how this movie's going to turn out.
Well, Andres commented about it on Facebook at one point, and I don't mean to take what he said and just say it, but I'm gonna use him as a chief source here. He said something along the lines of the animation of these guys' track records has been a bit rough in the past, depending on what the media, depending on what they've done, depending on the project. But the writing has usually been pretty strong. So if that's the case, sounds like an okay potential Godzilla animated movie. Like it sounds like it might go okay.
I'm actually looking at his comment right now. So to quote Andres,
Okay, good. This is an official quote from Andres Perez, professional Mexican in Japan. Professional American Mexican in Japan, excuse me.
oh boy, prepare
I agree. Oh boy, indeed.
prepare for some stuttery CG animation that runs at 20 frames per second. Sure, that looks fine for traditional anime, but not when it's in 3D, sadly. On the other hand, we'll at least get really talented people behind the story. So apparently he has seen Knights of Sidonia, and his takeaway was that he had gripes with the animation, but was impressed with the people behind the story. And
I see.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, no, I can watch poorly animated things. I used to watch episodes of Dragon Ball Z in the early 2000s. It's fine. You can deal with Goku's hair being a different shape every panel, every frame, not panel. It's not a comic book.
I wonder how much of this is going to be like CG though, because like if we have traditionally animated
All of it seemingly.
if we have like traditionally animated characters interacting with like CG technology and a CG Godzilla, at what point do we say is this really an anime? like,
Well,
I wish a Godzilla anime had been done back in the golden age of anime, namely the DBZ Trigun era.
oh no, I'm totally with you. I
Imagine a
wish this
Godzilla
was
movie.
totally traditional.
Imagine a Godzilla movie that looked as good as Dead Zone looked when we watched it recently.
That would have been the dopest thing ever. However, I think that this is going in a very particular direction that I think we can now talk about more so looking at the concept art. So there was also a bit of concept art, or I guess teaser concept art. Like it's more like a concept teaser, just like that old trailer put out during Comic Con for Godzilla 2014. Uh, so Dylan, we have some forest, some rainforesty looking landscape.
hmm
We have a extremely high tech looking what appears to be some kind of ship, or it could be a building or something, some kind of mechanical big thing, and a couple of people in what looks like kind of astronauty paramilitary kind of outfits on a cliff overlooking the landscape, and the words Godzilla emblazoned in a sort of generic high techy kind of font. Although it also kind of looks like the Godzilla font used on a lot of the DVDs in the early 2000s, like the one for GMK kind of looks like that.
Yeah,
You know what I
like the
mean?
kind of font that originated from like '98, and they just kept using it on things.
It doesn't look like 98. It looks to me very much so like the font. It looks exactly like the font they used on the DVDs. Like that kind of generic kind of angular font you'll find on like Microsoft Word or whatever.
Now, is it just me, or do the uniforms that these three characters are wearing, do they look sort of similar to the outfits that the mutants wore in Final Wars, with the dark, with the mostly dark, but then like with the light like armory segments like on the chests and shit.
I guess, but I don't think that that's intentional. It just kind of looks like basic like paramilitary kind of science exploration suits to me. Like it kind of looks
Yeah,
like you watch like one of the Dead Space animated movies, which are largely garbage. But I'm not comparing that to those because they're garbage, but because in the beginning you have them all walking around in this like space armor that lets them walk outside, and like on a in outer space. I mean, so sorry. I didn't know if I explained that properly, but you know what I mean. Like just kind of any generic animated thing where it opens, where it's like they're in space and they're exploring a planet that nobody's ever been to before, and there's a weird, alien monster or whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I don't know. I think that what we're looking at here could potentially be, and this is just my rough estimation based on what looking at it, and not at all based on any any actual factual thing I've heard. It looks to me like it's some kind of like monster UN exploration team or whatever, some kind of science crisis team coming out of their like main ship of operation. And it looks like they might be on Monster Island or any kind of like or just some kind of island where there are monsters, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I'm super
But
interested. The main thing I want to know from this image is where the fuck are they? Is this Monster Island? Is this Infant Island? Is this Faroe Island? Where are they?
I really hope Faroe Island. You know, it kind of looks like Faroe Island with the cliffs, but I think Monster Island is more likely.
Is this unnamed
Uh,
island from Godzilla versus the Sea Monster?
but the thing I also want, oh, I hope so. But the thing I also wanted is the Operation Robinson Crusoe Island.
Yes.
But what I wanted to ask you is if you took the Godzilla, logo off this, and I showed this to you, would you think it was from a Godzilla thing?
Not necessarily at
Not
all.
not taking into account that it's animated, just like as a thing. If I was like, this, do you think this is connected to the Godzilla franchise?
No, it looks more like something out of like the Alien franchise without that, because it's just a ship touched down on in a place. I mean, it could very easily just be people exploring another planet, like or aliens visiting Earth.
Exactly.
There's nothing about it
Yeah.
that immediately screams Godzilla, and I guess it's good that I don't have any like details yet.
Yeah, I mean certainly not. I mean this is just fucking concept art, and this hasn't even been put into production presumably, or at least it's in very early pre-production. So
They,
I don't want to know what this fucking story's about yet.
they could still cancel this. I mean, really, but
Oh, definitely. They could be like, oh, that was fake. Crunchyroll made that up. By the way, we're reading this on Crunchyroll.com, who I was unaware was a news source, but
yeah,
I guess they're reliable.
I don't know. I don't
They have
know. I don't know.
Godzuki's on here, so they must be reliable.
I don't know how reliable they are as a news source. Apparently, a lot of people stream shit over there. But
Oh, so very reliable then. So, Dylan, what I also wanted to say was, I really like that what this kind of means for the Godzilla franchise is we're going to keep getting a variety of different takes on Godzilla for the next couple of years, it seems. Like, we got Shin Godzilla this year, and then we have this next year. And they're as far as we know, disconnected, versions of Godzilla that still exist at similar or the same times,
yeah, and we
if
have
they
Legendary's Kaiju cinematic universe still building
Yep,
up with the upcoming Kong Skull Island.
which is coming out this same year.
We got all kinds of great Kaiju shit coming on the horizon. What I would like to see
So
now, if they're not willing to do a Godzilla anime series, at least give me like a badass, like really creative Godzilla manga. You know?
that would be good. I mean, we have those have existed in the past. We just can't read them in America because they just don't exist here. They've
Right.
just never been brought over. I think you can get those online in some capacity though, but
Aren't,
they're in
aren't
Japanese, so you'll never understand what they're really saying.
aren't most of those just like adaptations of certain movies?
No, a lot of them are actually like direct sequels to certain movies and kind of in betweenquels and stuff.
Well, damn it, they need to make a new one and bring it to America and
Yeah,
put it on my doorstep.
it would sell. I don't think Toho thinks this stuff will sell. Maybe they have an inkling that it might now that they've greenlit this.
I mean,
Um,
this is 4 volumes of the Ultraman manga that I'm holding right here.
I've only got 3.
Shit sells.
You showing off.
I
Um,
just got this one today. Actually, I haven't read it yet.
I think Ultraman, you can argue, is more popular in that kind of medium than Godzilla is, though.
But I don't understand the idea that it won't sell because, especially here in America, Ultraman is not as well known of a name as Godzilla is. Like in Japan, sure, everybody knows who the fuck Ultraman is, but if
Mm.
they're worried about not being able to sell Godzilla to a international audience, fucking Ultraman's doing it. There's no excuse for Godzilla and Gamera and Mothra and all of them to not have their own fucking crazy ass
Okay,
adventures.
let's say that I agree with you because I ultimately do. But let me play devil's advocate
give me
in saying
give me a
that,
Daimajin comic where every issue he just steps on a different bad guy.
and none of them have anything to do with each other. uh, but what I was gonna say to play devil's advocate was maybe the Japanese companies that greenlight these mangas don't think that Godzilla will sell as well compared to Ultraman, so they never get made over there. So then there's nothing to translate over here. Because what you could say in response to that is that we do have American Godzilla comics that do sell pretty well.
If Japan was smart,
So
they would realize that they have a huge, gigantic American fan base. Weeaboos has become our number one export. So they just need to cater a little bit more to this new emerging market, like Hollywood's been doing with the Chinese, which is ruining our movies.
A little bit, yeah. Did you see Warcraft? No, right?
God no. I had no
Well,
interest because I was never a Warcraft er.
I used to Warcraft and I saw it and
I never.
there were a solid like 2 minutes of logos at the beginning, most of which were Chinese companies,
Mm.
and I was stunned like just at how long it took to finally get to the movie. Like I turned to Nicola who I watched it with and I was just like, are they for real? Like is this the actual movie? Like what the fuck? And it was astounding. But anyway, again, back to the topic. So
I never
Dylan,
crafted any war back in the day, so I
So
didn't.
Dylan, regardless of Japan being idiots about not doing a Godzilla manga over there and then bringing it to America,
I mean, they are aware
uh,
that there's an American comic company that's selling them like hotcakes, right?
well that's what I'm saying is that I think that maybe the Japanese companies don't think that it'll sell in their country like those American Godzilla comics sell here. So why would they put their stuff in a market where they already have competition? You know?
Mm.
Maybe that's their thought process. I don't know. I'm with you though. I want everything. I want a Godzilla manga. I want a Godzilla anime series, and I want this movie fucking too. So let's talk about more kind of vague speculation, since we've basically talked about every specific thing we can tell from what we see here. But based on what we're looking at here, what I was gonna say before as well is that I like that we're getting a Godzilla thing, which makes sense. It's set in animation that looks like it's bringing in more science fiction, fantastic elements outside of just Godzilla into this world. Like
Yeah.
Shin Godzilla, it's just Godzilla seemingly that's like the major science fiction element. Everything else seems kind of normal. But in this, clearly, Godzilla's not even in this image anyway, and we still have sci-fi elements with the ship and with the design of the human explorers there. So I'm very about that. I think that's really cool, and I can't wait to see the direction that goes. How do you feel about that?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's an anime, so you really have license to just go crazy. All the shit people complained about, like in Godzilla Final Wars, they would be perfectly fine with if it was an anime. Like that's the kind of license that you have. Just do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care.
Even the story problems, though.
Put fucking Ghidra in there. You know, put in some Jet Jaguar. Throw it all in there. I don't care. It's a fucking anime. It's crazy as shit.
Just let me ask you a question. Looking at all the stuff we have here, go vague kind of speculation with what you want the kind of direction of the story to take. What do you want to see?
Oh God.
I know it's a big question and we have so little to go on, but just a little bit of what you can see here. What do you want to see?
I want to see.
Where does it might go?
I want to see fucking a movie length version of the Daikon animation. No.
That ship does not look like that ship looks like it could come out of Daikon. Like just the segments that don't have copyrighted material in it, even I mean.
Like, what if this whole movie was just Godzilla and that chick in the bunny outfit, just murdering every fictional character that has ever
I would
existed in the
I would
history
not be opposed to seeing that.
of ever?
Especially to see that now, because you could see him murder like, I don't know, like Sherlock or something. I don't know why I thought of Sherlock, but
Could finally get that epic Godzilla versus Batman that we've all been wanting. No,
now
but
we had that happened in the Ultimate Showdown though. Don't you remember the Ultimate Showdown? That was a Godzilla animated thing from back in the day. That was kind of an anime.
the only thing I can say is I'd like to see maybe like a cool original anime, like something that they could like only do in anime, you know, something that you could like never pull off in live action and they just like put it in this anime, something really cool and unique for Godzilla to fight. I don't have any ideas as to what the story might be, but just if he's going to fight anything in the movie, which he might not be, I'm just saying if he is going to fight anything in the movie, I think you should take advantage of the fact that you're in a new medium and play around with it in ways that you potentially couldn't before.
But you want to see other monsters. You don't want it to just be him.
No, because I mean we're getting that right now with Shin, and I don't need an anime to be that, and it's already going to be like a weird sci-fi thing, judging by this concept art. So why do a weird sci-fi premise if you're only going to put Godzilla in there? It's like if you're going weird sci-fi, fucking do whatever you want, man. Fucking put
Um,
Hedorah in there, and since it's animated, you can actually like have him do blobby things that he couldn't do in the movie.
I'm totally with you. I want a bunch of monsters in this, if not just Godzilla versus one thing. I'd like to see a bunch though, because I'd like to see like you said, a whole bunch of weird out there monster concepts that we couldn't get in live action done in anime since we may never get this again, you know?
Yeah,
Like I'd kind of like them to throw everything at the wall, or not everything at the wall, but just try enough of what you can of what you can potentially do with this concept in animation
because if you
and
don't,
try to throw it into this one movie.
because unfortunately, I'm jaded, and if you don't take it,
Aren't we all?
if you don't take advantage of the fact that you're not in, or if you don't take advantage of the fact that you're in a new medium and like do something crazy and out there that you couldn't do otherwise, then at that point it's just like, oh, we're doing this because this name sells right now.
Yeah, oh, definitely. But I'm kind of concerned that that might be what it is anyway. But based on this concept art, I do think that there's a story here. So, Dylan, do you want me to tell you what my I just came up with this based on what we're looking at. Again, based on nothing story idea for this.
Go right ahead.
Where I think that this could potentially go, again, just based on this concept art and just based on what I think might be cool based on this concept art. What if the idea is that it's like a universe that's sort of similar to the future of Destroy All Monsters, and it's the premise of we've locked all the monsters in the world on Monster Island, and then maybe the idea is we just left them there, and then something maybe like decades go by, nobody has any interactions with the monsters, it's just kind of its own thing, self-sustained, no human interaction, and then for some reason at some point in the future there's some kind of reason presented for a bunch of people to go in onto Monster Island on the ground and do something there, or maybe for some purpose, maybe something connected to Godzilla. Something happens and they have to go there and encounter the monsters again all these years later. Maybe some kind of threat. Maybe there's some kind of human-based threat even. That might be cool. We don't get that enough anymore, I don't think, in Godzilla stuff, like human-based threats, like humans causing some kind of threat with the monsters. Like, that always used to be kind of the idea, and it works a lot of the time, so I'd like to see something like that.
Hmm.
What do you think?
I think I'm all for that because, and I'm a little biased on this, I had a fan fiction idea once that was very similar to that, and
Right.
I never did it. So
Oh, yeah, that's right, the Jet Jaguar thing. Or no, Jet Jaguar was in
Jet
that,
Jaguar
wasn't he?
was in it. It wasn't a Jet Jaguar thing.
I thought he was in the name of that, my bad.
It would do a whole thing about Jet Jaguar. Hmm.
But
But
yeah, but you kind of see where I came from with that. It's like you've got these explorer-looking dudes, you've got this super high-tech looking ship. We're on an island setting. It looks like they're taken in awe by what they're seeing. And it's Godzilla, so I think it might be Monster Island, and they haven't been there for a long time, or people haven't been there for a long time. You know?
I think that could be very interesting. I would be all about seeing that.
So yeah, no, this looks really cool. I'm really excited about this, and I'm just again glad to get a bunch of variety from the Godzilla franchise, having gotten nothing from for all those years. So I'm really glad that we're getting this and the sequels to the legendary movies. Hopefully, I hope that those don't get shit canned with everything that's going on at Warner Brothers these days. And Kong Skull Island and Shin Godzilla when we finally get to see that, which we still haven't seen, by the way. Just to update everybody who may be listening, who may be wondering on that, I still haven't seen that and have trying to been avoiding spoilers. Sorry, I can't talk. As much as possible, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Thanks for doing this with me, though, man. This was a lot of fun.
yeah. This is great. Look out.
It was fun to just do kind of an off the cuff discussion, like we may have had off recording, just kind of as a video, as opposed to waiting to do a video later. We should
Right.
do this more often.
Yeah, who knows if some more topics come to our attention between now and then, we can totally do some more just random shit like this.
Definitely, definitely.
It's nice
All
to do
right,
things every
well,
now and then that don't have to be like a part of a regular show.
yeah, right. And we used to do that all the time. Now it's just, you know, just fucking episode 795 of the Demons from Outer Space. We're
Speaking
definitely that far in.
speaking of things that are not a part of our regularly scheduled program, at some point later in this month, we'll be recording our next Godzilla Odyssey thingy because the last one came to you people late.
Yes, it did, and it kind of got messed up in uploading. I never even put it on the Facebook page because it got up so late that I just didn't even bother. I figured everybody who would have seen it on there has seen it already. So, the next one though will go up. The thing I'm planning on doing with that one is, you can, I'm gonna edit it and upload it on the Facebook page the night Dylan and I record it. So as soon as we're done, I'm gonna just dump it into Movie Studio Platinum, render it, and put it up on YouTube for the people to watch early and then put it up a little later in the month. So Dylan, you and I are gonna have to do that like soon. So we should definitely like
Yeah.
pick a date for that off recording.
Right.
But yeah, no, definitely we'll do that, and you can watch it early if you like the Godzilla Odyssey homepage on Facebook. Sorry, I'm really tired and I'm having a hard time keeping my words together. So
And then
uh,
DFOS comes back when? Fucking
early October, late September,
October. Okay.
right? And SOS comes in early late September. So we'll be back soon enough with regular podcasting, and in the meantime, I've got to get up those Through the Shot Glass ones podcasts we did in the interim. So I've got to do that and many other things, Dylan. All the things. So many things. I'm so tired. Help me.
All of the every all of.
The entire weight of the world is on my back. God damn it. No. All right. So until next time, everyone. I'm Bill Worster, aka Zazubaar.
I'm Super GM 64.
Sayonara, kids.